have a look at the different options we can do in the lizard stretch. So obviously this focuses a lot on your hip flexion and hip extension. If you have blocks, I highly recommend that you use blocks to help you with that stretch. So a lizard stretch is a low lunge where we lean into the inside of the leg. What we want to try and do first and foremost is try and not open that other leg too far out. It's not like it's not an option here. It's also useful in its own time, but what we're trying to do here is we focus on this hip and we're trying to strengthen that hip flexion here. So there is a bit of compensation when we open the thigh, and we want to try and make it a little bit more intense in the sense that we want to strengthen our hip flexion. So here if I want to focus on that hip extension here, what I like to do is, you can see the angle on my foot comes a little bit lower, and I just simply try and like take my chest a little bit higher without arching the lower back. So I try and like pull a little bit into tension to find this beautiful opening in my hip flexor. So you can see I'm kind of dragging a little bit my tailbone under. I squeeze into my glute to find a deeper stretch in my hip flexor. And the other option is to keep coming a little bit more forward, but keep that chest elevated, yeah? Because once you start rounding, you lose a little bit of purpose of the stretch. And as you keep going down, you keep that chest nice and elevated, and that increases your beautiful flexion on the front leg. And at the same time, your hip extension gets a little bit deeper. So you simply hold the stretch here. Try and avoid just kind of like rounding the back and coming onto your elbows, but rather keep that long line between the top of the body and the pointed foot. Yes. To show you on the other side, just what it looks like, okay? So I start into a normal lunge, normal low lunge. I focus on my hip flexion on that back, tuck that tailbone under, yeah, keep my chest quite lifted, and as I feel a bit more comfortable, I then take my leg a little bit further forward, my front foot, and I'm taking that stretch a little bit further forward as well. So nice deep breath, yeah, try and square your hip, and like you can see, my leg has started to do that, so I need to bring it a little bit back in. Chest up, all right? And that's your lizard stretch.